Let's talk about a titan in the sky. For more than 2 decades, it's been up there, a silent, shining symbol of what humanity can do when we work together. But now, the incredible story of the International Space Station, well, it's entering its final and most dramatic chapter. And that brings us to the big mystery, right? The question we're diving into today. After all that work, all that money, all that unbelievable cooperation, what happens now? Its fate is pretty much sealed. But what that future actually looks like, well, that's where the story gets really interesting.
So, to really understand what's coming, we have to take a moment to appreciate what we're about to lose. This isn't just a machine getting old. This is a monumental achievement, a city in the stars that is facing its inevitable sunset.
That's right. Let that sink in. This incredible outpost, humanity's only permanent home off-planet for a generation, has an expiration date. NASA and all the partners have confirmed it. We're keeping the lights on until 2030, but after that, time's up. That single date sets the stage for everything that has to happen next. The clock is officially ticking.
But honestly, how did this thing even get built in the first place? I mean, it's a political and engineering miracle. To really get it, you have to go back to its origins, a time when this level of partnership seemed, well, completely impossible.
Picture this. The Cold War had just ended. The planet's 2 biggest rivals, fresh off decades of pointing missiles at each other, decided to merge their biggest space dreams. You had NASA's massive Freedom Station concept and Russia's planned Mir 2. Instead of competing, they decided to build one single global project. It was basically a handshake in orbit that changed everything.
And let's be clear, this wasn't just a 2-player game. The scale of this collaboration was just unprecedented. You had 5 major space agencies representing 15 different countries, all coming together to build this city in the sky. Seriously, it was and still is the single largest international cooperative project in human history. Absolutely wild.
But look, life in orbit has been anything but a smooth ride. The station's journey is marked by some incredible triumphs, for sure, but also by some deep scars. Challenges that have tested the entire partnership right to its breaking point.
First, just try to get your head around the sheer scale of it. We're talking about a structure the size of a football field, weighing over 400 tons. And get this, none of it was launched in one go. It was painstakingly built, piece by piece, by astronauts in spacesuits floating in the vacuum of space. It's an absolute marvel of engineering.
This timeline really tells the story, doesn't it? It shows the incredible highs and the devastating lows. From that first module heading up in '98 to the first crew moving in for good in 2000, and then the tragic loss of the Space Shuttle Columbia in 2003. That disaster stopped everything in its tracks and put the whole project in jeopardy. The ISS literally has a story of resilience built into its very framework.
And you can bet the station wears the scars of that long journey. The structure itself is aging, with reports of tiny cracks showing up in some of the older Russian modules. The repair bills are getting bigger and bigger, and maybe most critically, the political tensions down here on Earth have repeatedly threatened to tear the partnership apart up there, making its continued success a daily diplomatic miracle. So, if the ISS is retiring, that brings up a huge question. What comes next? Is this it for our presence in low Earth orbit? Not even close. In fact, a new and way more competitive era is just getting started. So let's meet the heirs to the throne. This, right here, is the new reality. The future isn't one big unified station. It's a bunch of them. You've got China already operating its own impressive Tiangong station. Russia is talking about building its own national outpost. And the US? It's betting on a whole ecosystem of private companies. The great era of cooperation is slowly giving way to a new era of competition.
And the field is about to get even more crowded. Yep, emerging space powers like India are throwing their hats in the ring, with serious plans to launch their own station by 2035. The race for low Earth orbit is officially on. So, when the ISS finally takes its last lap and makes that fiery plunge into the Pacific Ocean, what will we remember it for? What's its legacy? Because it's so much more than just 400 tons of orbiting metal.
This is it. This is the key. The ISS was never really the final destination. It was the bridge. It was our training ground, our laboratory in the sky where we figured out how to live and work in space for long stretches of time. It's where we tested the tech and maybe more importantly, the international trust we're going to need for the next giant leaps. To the moon, and yeah, eventually, to Mars. So why did it matter so much?
Well, for one, it proved that even on a hopelessly divided planet, we can do unbelievable things when we work together. The science done up there has led to real breakthroughs back here in medicine and new materials. It lit a fire of curiosity in millions of kids and adults, and it basically created the foundation for the whole commercial space industry that we see booming today.
So as we look up at that fading star in the night sky, we really shouldn't see it as an ending. The great lesson of the International Space Station is that its twilight is going to bring a whole new dawn. Its final descent isn't a goodbye, it's more like a graduation, the start of a new, more diverse, and maybe even more ambitious chapter in our journey to the stars. The question isn't if we'll go anymore, it's where we're all going next.